Hello, hello friends. It is Jackie with Pocket of Preschool, and I am coming to you today to show you the brand new weather science unit, which is part of the Little Learners Science curriculum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the amazingness that is included, and then at the end I'll come back and we'll do a quick Q&A if you guys have any questions for me. This one turned out really, really cute. I'm super excited to show you. Okay, so just like the other science units, they always come with some science table setups. That way your kiddos can play with this independently if you don't have time in your day for science. So this is one of the science table setups. So this one is set up to explore rain. So I have some other ones too for different types of weather, but let me just show you this one first. So on the wall, I have the vocabulary cards. Again, all real photographs. There are extreme weather ones as well if you want to talk about those. And I know some of the national science standards need you to. So those are available in there as well. And then I have the discovery pages. And then this is the raindrop plop activity. There's two different maps, but I would just put one in. And then what your kiddos do is they're going to practice using a dropper, and they're going to see how many drops can fit in the raindrop. So they're exploring capacity and they're exploring rain at the same time. And then with all of each type of weather, I have these sorting cards. So they're just on Velcro. And I did color code them on the back. And the weather sorting cards, they have kind of like the weather, what it looks like outside, what you can do in that type of weather, and then usually the clothes you wear. So like here is the sunny one. Here is the cloudy one. So I would just put out whatever weather it is next to the activity. And then there's also a read aloud included, just like always. All my science packs have a read aloud. And then I think these are my favorite things. So these are the weather sensory bottles. And these are Voss sensory bottles. These are the smaller plastic ones, but I put a label on them so the kiddos can identify and start using those vocabulary words. But there's the directions included on how to make each one. So there's snowy, and then there's hail. And that's just those glass gems from the dollar store. This one is stormy. So it's just got cotton balls, glitter, and I made some lightning bolts with foam. This one is windy because we always think of wind in the fall, at least I do. So kind of blowing those leaves down. And those are just some foam leaves I just had in my box. But you can use those fake leaves too from like the dollar store. And then rainy, which this is just water and glitter, nothing fancy. And then cloudy, which this is just cotton balls stuffed in some water. And I just used liquid watercolor to color the water. And you can also use food color. And then sunny, I don't know if you can see it, there is just a yellow sparkly pom-pom with a blue sky. So just again, the blue water. So all the pictures are on the top so they can identify what the different weather is and talk about it, because we all know they learn by touching and doing and just exploring that vocabulary. So this is the one table setup. So that is the rain. And then I'm gonna flip it over, show you some other goodness. So you can also do the wind. So I would just put out a bucket of straws, and then here is a sorting chart. So basically what they're gonna do is take the straw and they're gonna try and blow the different things just like the wind does. And there's also vocabulary cards in here that explain how you measure different types, or measure and what meteorologists use. So they use a windsock to determine which way the weather is moving. So you could put that out next to the wind. So that's the wind exploration. There's also a cloud. So the clouds they're real photographs. Again, I try and use real photographs as much as possible. There's the 4 different types of clouds, so you can make an anchor chart with it, or you can just have them on the table. And I did put a little description on there just to help teachers and teachers' assistants out. That way you can kind of have a real quick description of the clouds for your kiddos. There is a 1-page poster, and then you can put out some cotton balls and some gray markers, and then they can make the different types of clouds. And you can either have them make it and like glue it, or you can use it as a mat and like laminate it, and they can just make the different ones. So that way weather's kind of hard to touch, see, and feel and do, but they're trying to attempt to make that weather. They're exploring the wind. And then for rain, we all know this experiment, right? So you put the shaving cream. Oh, of course. Why does this always happen when I'm live? Like my shaving cream never like really works. It always like goes flat. And then this is just, what is it? Food coloring. And what will happen is as the cloud absorbs the rain, when it gets too heavy, the rain or the blue water will go down. You can kind of see it starting to go. But this is kind of a fun one to do, and just put it at the table. And if you're worried about having a glass jar, just put out a like clear bowl that's plastic, or you can use like a plastic vase. And what you'll see is, you can kind of see it starting to come down right there. The rain will come down, and then I also have a recording page with that one as well. And then I know in the National Science Standards, one of the objectives is to create a shade structure. So rather than you having to create something else, I made a challenge for that. So that way you can just print it and put it out in your center, and that way that objective is covered. And I put, they can make an umbrella, a canopy, a tent, or you pick, because if they have an idea that's better than mine or yours, I absolutely want them to do this. Like my own kiddos did this, and I would just put out this is like a little tray from the dollar store, and I just have pattern blocks and little people, that way they can put their people in there, or you can use like bear counters. These is just, I love using these for STEM. It's just laminated pieces of cardstock that I just cut like index card size. And these are those mini cups from the dollar store. But yeah, and then there's a blueprint page to go with it. And it says they can name their structure, and then did it protect the people from the sun, yes or no. You can also put a flashlight in the center so they can test it. But my pre-K friend, he made a tent. And then my other guy is a first grader, and he made a cabin. So if I wouldn't have had that you pick on there, he would have not thought outside of the box, not used his imagination. So he was really using those engineering skills. So that's why there is a you pick, so they can think of something that they maybe have used in their own life to protect themselves from the shade. So we also, I know this one is gonna kind of be based on your kiddos. So, and I know the National Science Standards want you to talk about severe weather if it happens in your area. So what you're gonna do is, if it's okay with your kiddos and if it's not gonna scare them. Now, if you have little guys, like 3-year-olds, you probably won't wanna talk about all of these. And I did put that disclaimer in my pack. So maybe just talk about the ones that are in your area, because it might scare some of the kids. Or maybe you've had a hurricane recently, or maybe you've had a really horrible hailstorm and they're kind of scared about it. So this, use with caution, because our learners are little and they have worries, and sometimes weather can be so scary. And then you have to have a what's the weather chart, right? Okay, sorry, moving it around. So I have the photographs, so you can do a big anchor chart. There's student recording pages as well. And then I made these little weather books. So you can literally take these outside, and you can do it before or after recess, and they basically color the weather, and then they draw it. And it's just like 4 to a page. So you just cut it, and then they staple it together. Super simple. And then this one is another one you could do. So that one's rainy. And then they have to draw what kind of clothes they would wear. So he drew his umbrella. How fun is that? So that's just something else you could do for what's the weather. Then you're, dressing up the teddy bear kind of gets old. So, but if you dress up the teddy bear, that's okay too. Not knocking it, I promise. And then at the end, if you want to make a big giant anchor chart of all the different types of weather, and then they can draw the different types of weather on your chart, that is awesome. And because now they're communicating and they're putting their ideas and their knowledge down on paper, and they're making a visual representation of it. So that is a science skill, actually. All those fun science processes. And then they can also, if you would rather do a recording page, they can illustrate the different types of weather. So that is all of the amazingness that's included. I do include a book list if you need some more books. There's a parent note, like always, that you can send home to help that homeschool connection. You can print anything in this pack smaller. This is the Read Aloud Smaller. There's journal pages, discovery pages with different types of lines, and a cover. So you get all of this amazingness. All of it is real photos. So yeah, so do you guys have any questions for me? So I might bring up tornadoes, and we might just talk about how to be safe during a tornado. If you hear this tornado sirens going off, what do you do? Because they go off, I mean, pretty regular, like not regularly like in some of the other states, but I mean, I would say they go off maybe once a month during those spring and summer months sometimes. So it's also a good time to talk about kind of emergency procedures and how to keep yourself safe during the different types of weather. So if you're in Florida, wear sunscreen when you're out in the sun. So Julie's asking, what would you do in the other centers? I actually just released a weather, math, and literacy science center pack, which I can put the link in here. So you could do that, and then you could put like a flower shop or something and pretend. Camping would be fun because you experience all different kinds of weather during camping. You guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.